made, what, 14 unforced errors. So, John, he's played very well.
And he's really impressed Pete Sampras. I'll tell you, that's ace number 12. He's got more aces than Sampras. Serving at a high percentage. He continues to mix things up beautifully. I think Sampras was looking to pull out that second set, get up 2 sets to love, and then
cruise.
Try to cruise, but that is not happening whatsoever. The sun is down behind the stadium now, so that's going to help the players in terms of fatigue. There's a shot that I thought would pay dividends sooner than it has. Yes, he's hit some winners, but not as many as I expected. He's made a lot of errors off that forehand side. And Correj has done an excellent job scrambling, hanging in there, and then coming out with some big passes. Sampras in this match so far has hit 10 winners on the forehand side, 18 unforced errors. That's not good for Pete. Here's the volley. He totally mishit. Correj had plenty of time. Tried that topspin lob. That was way too short there. Easy put away for Pete.
So deuce. Opening for Sampras.
He's got to weather the storm mentally now. You know, he's a little bit despondent over losing that second set.
13th ace.
Correj has got to guard against getting a little flat himself, but you know he's got to be pumped up pulling out that second set, but he doesn't want to relax at all.
Wow. And another. Who would have thought? Correj out acing Sampras. And we want to let you know that we will be extending our coverage here to bring you the conclusion of this match. We're scheduled to go off in about 7 or 8 minutes. I don't think they're going to be done, so neither will we. This has turned into a pretty good one. We're all even.
This turned into a very, very good match. 15. Alex Correj making this highly competitive quarterfinal.
I was going to say a little better than Pete hoped it would be.
Yeah, closer than I anticipated, I'll tell you.
15 love. Good movement from both sides of the net, but Sampras unable to put it away. 30.
Well, Alex Correj hit a drop shot off Sampras's drop shot. Pete tried to be cute one more time. Came up a little bit short. The rule is if you have a short ball and you have time to hit it, try to hit it with some pace, because these guys are awful quick. We've seen Correj move quite well around the court, and he may have been able to run that forehand down anyway.
40 love after the 15th ace.
And that's the biggest shock of today's match. Correj with more aces than Pete Sampras.
Spaniard holds at love. So 3-2. And John, why do you think Sampras is struggling so much on Correj's serve?
Well, maybe he's obviously not used to a ball toss that high. That's one thing. So it's taking him time to adjust to that. Correj has served extremely well, not only placing the ball, but hitting with some good pop, good first serve percentage, mixing it up just enough. He's still hovering around 64% first serve percentage. Pete's definitely in a bit of a lull right now, mentally. And he can't tell whether he should chip and charge right in on it. He should try to take a big swing. We see here, Correj has just done a fantastic job in the last set and a half with his unforced error ratio. Really the whole match at 14. Sampras is already at 37. And that's the story of this match right now. Sampras is really fighting to hang in there. Correj, remember, got off to that good early start, had a couple set points in the first set. So he had a real chance to be up 2 sets to love. I don't know if Pete's feeling a little bit tight in the legs, a little bit of fatigue, you know, the pressure he's put on himself. Saying before the tournament that the Grand Slams mean a great deal to him, and he needs to win this one to try to salvage the year. Let's not forget later on this evening, which is getting closer and closer.
I was going to say, they may overlap a little bit.
If this match goes 5 sets, the viewers that are going to turn on maybe at 7:30 will be watching Sampras and Correj.
Well, that'll be tonight on USA, regardless of the start time. Ivanisevic and Edberg.
Correj continuing to bounce around and behind the baseline, showing Sampras that he's fresh as a daisy and he's ready to go the distance. The question is, can he do it? He's certainly looking the fresher of the two at the moment.
Quickly, 30 love. Of course, with Pete's demeanor, he always sort of looks a little fatigued. He's got the shoulder
that Ken Rosewall look.
When he comes out, he moves like a cat.
And one sign that he may be fatigued a little bit is the fact that he is serving and volleying so often. That's unusual for Pete on both serves.
Is that a sign of concern?
I personally think it's a pretty good idea when you can serve that well, but since he doesn't do it that often, it makes me think that he must be thinking something's not going well. Normally he serves and volleys most of the time on the first serve, and he's content to kick that second one in, occasionally mix it up so he keeps his opponents off guard. But Correj has been so solid off the ground. Those heavy ground shows kick up so high, that's fatiguing on your arm. Have to hit one-handed backhands all day. Correj has done a better job of that today than Pete Sampras.
40-50.
Fourth double fault.
I still see the champion Pete Sampras figuring out a way to win this match. So he's been in a lot tougher encounter than I think he expected.
Those 3 5-setters at the French Open at Roland Garros.
He's going to run that down.
Sampras is waiting.
Well, good effort, but a little bit disappointed at the ending for Correj. He had a real shot at this. Trying to hold it to the last second. Sampras guessed cross court and was rewarded with an easy volley. Correj's problem there was he didn't take the racket back quite early enough, so he limited his options, although I think he still could have pulled that ball up the line and fooled Pete. 3-all third set. I think that's what Pete's looking to do now. Hang in there, wait for his chance on the courageous serve, and then pounce on it when it comes. A rare unforced error from Correj. That may have been his first of this third set.
15.
He gets himself out of trouble with that big first serve.
Well, it generates an awful lot of power.
I didn't think I'd be saying that. The big first serve of Alex Correj.
Going for it there.
30-50.
We're at the National Tennis Center men's quarterfinals. The #1 seed in a bit of trouble against Alex Correj. If you're just joining us, we are going past our allotted time to bring you the conclusion of this match. 3-all. Correj serving 30-15. Will McAtee along with John McEnroe. We're watching a fine effort from 22-year-old Spaniard Alex Correj.
And that exchange has really surprised me. I thought Sampras would hurt Correj more on that running forehand. Just can't seem to find the range consistently. And now he's losing confidence with the play. He's just not as confident as he was even earlier in the match. He's making a lot of errors on that forehand side. Haven't seen much of that. Total mishits from Correj. Most of the time when he has mishit it, they've dropped in anyway. Still a point here. Alex to go up 4-3, third set.
So Correj holds. We're still on serve in the third set.
This USA Update is brought to you by United Healthcare.
Hello, I'm Mike Johnson. A 19-year-old actor from the TV series Step by Step is recovering from gunshot wounds. LA police say Brandon Call was shot in both arms while trying to elude a car that was chasing him. The producers of Harrison Ford's new thriller AFO are looking for a few extras. They especially want men who are willing to learn some Russian. Now this.
10 million patient years of information flow through United Healthcare. Information that has led to the most innovative health plans in the business. Plans that let you choose your own doctor, that help prevent problems before they start, that give you someone to talk to at 3 a.m. Plans that treat you not as somebody to manage, but as the manager of your own health. If you're choosing a health plan, remember this: the plan is only as good as the company behind it. United Healthcare.
This has been a USA Update.
Now the folks here at the Stadium Court of the National Tennis Center seeing a good one. Pete Sampras against unseeded Alex Correj of Spain, ranked 31 in the world. Correj has come out firing, has actually served more aces than Sampras and held his own. He's the world #1. So Sampras will serve to try to level this third set at 4.
I'll tell you something. Sampras better be careful here right now. He's looking a little bit down mentally. Correj continuing to bounce around there. Unbelievable record in Grand Slam matches so far. Probably a good idea to go back to that serve volley tactic.
15.
Try to get that big first serve in, take some pressure off himself with some good solid volleying. So Correj trying to stand in and take the ball early, but that volley catching the outside of the line.
15.
Well, an opportunity here. Correj keeps the pressure on Sampras. 15-30. And we're even at a set apiece, but keep in mind that Correj actually served and had 2 set points in the first set. Now there's the ace from Sampras. It's such a great equalizer. That's 12. Still trails Correj.
That's what Jim Courier complained about the French. He said Sampras looks dog tired, hangs his head, then stands up and hits a 120-mile-an-hour ace. Just like he did there.
didn't miss by much.
That was a little bit wide. Both players just looking in disbelief. Sampras can't believe it almost went in, and Correj can't believe it went just out. Take a look at this ball, just drop a little bit wide.
Sampras continuing to serve and volley. 4-all.
Is just loaded with energy at the moment. Bouncing around on that court. Sees a short ball and takes advantage of it. Hits a nice angle off the forehand side. That's playing it safe for Alex Correj. Make sure you're not missing it. Comes up with the winner. Sampras is the one, Bill, is having trouble with the Correj second serve kick, not the other way around. Keep with the smile. I'm not sure what was said by the crowd.
And whatever it was, it gave Pete a brief reason to smile.
Kind of wipe the smile off the face. 16 aces now for the Spaniard, Alex Correj.
Correj holds at love again for 5-4, third set. Watching it.
Get some new balls, see if that'll help him out. Trying to hang in here in this third set. Trying to weather the storm out here, Bill. Been in a lot more big matches than Alex Correj has. He's hoping that will pay off for Pete here when it comes down to the nitty-gritty, which is coming down to right about now. Throws in a double there.
55th double fault for 15-all. Alex Correj, of course, played that 5-setter last year against Andre Agassi in the second round. Correj had trouble with cramps in the 4th and the 5th sets. It looks very fresh now. We head down the stretch in the third set. 13 aces now for Pete.
13.
Classic motion from Pete Sampras. Difficult to read where he's going to hit it. Good lesson for people watching. It doesn't seem like he's serving that hard. Bad miss there.
30.
Lesson on the service to try not to go for too much, because when you try to press, you see the lights, they've turned on the lights here at USTA. And when you try to press and go for more, you actually end up hitting the serve less hard than if you just try to keep it within what you feel comfortable doing.
Big points now. Correj 2 away from a 2-1 lead.
That was a good ball. The turn we see. I complain about seeing Sergio Bruguera chip that forehand, but I'll tell you, that time Correj fooled Sampras with a chip forehand return. Paul Anathor looking a little bit more stunned now. Set point for the Spaniards, 2-1 lead. Quarterfinals against Pete Sampras. First serve into the body, saved Pete there. Didn't give Correj a chance to get around on that forehand. Look at Correj there. What a move. They don't teach that on clay courts.
Another set point.
Once again, he chips, this time the backhand return comes charging into net. Sampras forced to hit up. Correj completes it with a beautiful volley. Another set point. Correj had a real shot at that pass. What an effort for him to run that forehand volley down.
So close.
Look at the backhand pass. Now he runs up. He had enough time to try to flick it up the line, just clip the top of the tape.
Well, he knows how big that point was.
One more look at it. Pete looked like he may have been able to run that ball down, though. Back to deuce. Correj is now in set points in all three of the sets. Two in the first, one in, I think, the second one in the second set, and now a couple set points on this in this third set.
Too good. Sampras looks skyward, weathering the storm for the moment. Take a look, John, at the volley.
And he had to get down nice and low. He had to use some good technique. He almost had his head on the racket. That's how close his eyes were to the ball. And just at the last instant, he dropped down a little bit lower, give himself a better angle for the put-away volley. Continues to struggle with that forehand, though. Correj quick to pick up on it now, is hurting him on that side.
Correj has played a very smart match.
He's played a match like a guy who knows what he's doing on this surface.
I'll
cover a little too much territory there.
15.
Forehand wild and well long. We talked about all the Spanish players in the draw. They practiced together in Barcelona. They built some hard courts for them there. Obviously a smart move. Get these guys practicing on hard courts before they play a hard court tournament, which you'd be amazed at how many of these guys really have had very little hard court practice in the past and suddenly come over to these tournaments and unable to deal with the pace and the movement. And that may be instrumental in why these guys are doing better and better. That and the talent that they're showing. A lot of talented Spaniards coming out these days from Spain. Two Spaniards, by the way, in the quarterfinals. Javier Sanchez gave Michael Chang as much as he wanted to handle in their quarterfinal match yesterday.
Come back, Pete Sampras will serve to try to send this third set to a tiebreak.
Hungry for a game show that gives you 100% of the minimum daily requirements of laughs, cackles, and pop culture your TV diet demands?
Weasel Zappa, ladies and gentlemen.
Then try the show with impeccable taste. Grill Me, presented by Honda, a USA special, Monday at midnight.
Biography turns on the superstars of sitcoms.
I want to be called domestic goddess.
TV's biggest names and celebrity fame. Pioneers of prime time.
You've got spunks. I hate spunks.
Past.
Now cut that off.
And present. A premiere week event. Sitcom Superstars on Biography. All this week at 8 on A&E.
I think the saddest thing I've ever seen at this clinic was a family of about 6 who were all enrolled in treatment.
From the grandmother to the daughter to the granddaughter. A perpetuation of this slavery within our own society.
Breaking his 14th as he tries to level this third set and send us to a tiebreak. But the good news for Correj is that he continues to put pressure on the Sampras serve.
Remember, just last time Pete served, a couple set points, go up 2 sets to 1, unable to capitalize. You better hit a big shot if you're going to run around your back and leave the court wide open. And Correj did that. Sampras with the miss hit. He's looking awfully confident, Alex Correj, in this quarterfinals. Not a bit intimidated by the situation. No scissor kick. End result, misses an easy overhead.
15-30.
Probably didn't do the scissor kick because he wanted to be a little bit safer, but he's probably used to doing that. He's a little bit hesitant here. Once again, 2 points from losing his third set.
Crowd urging Sampras on. $30 all.
This time he goes for the placement instead of the power, and it pays off for him. Sampras gave Alex Correj too much time on this pass. He missed it the return. Sampras did do enough with that volley. Correj early racket preparation. And pulls it cross court for a winner and set point number 3. Pete should have put this volley away, but give credit for Correj running it down, making Sampras hit one more shot. And that hard work pays off. What do we have here? 2 sets to 1, Alex Correj.
Not a change of hands. Thank you.
Who would have thought 2 hours and 32 minutes into this match, Alex Correj would be 1 set from the U.S. Open semifinal. Bad-looking forehand to start out this fourth set. Remember, Correj was up 2-1 against Agassi last year. Ran out of gas, 6-love, 6-2, I believe, the final 2 sets. Doesn't look fatigued, though, at the moment. Agassi, the master of making his opponents work. Sampras merely a little below that, but enough to allow, as we see, ace number 17 from Correj's racket, which is another amazing stat. He wins a lot more quicker points off the serve and not quite as solid perhaps off the ground as Andre. Doesn't use the angles as well, and Correj consequently not nearly as fatigued at the moment. And also probably learned from that experience a year ago. Oh, great backhand. When to take a little bit of pressure off himself and attack. So when he started to feel tired, to be able to get it back sooner here. He's just done an incredible job of mixing things up today. And that backhand pass just blew by Sampras.
Well, if Pete Sampras is going to win another U.S. Open championship, he's going to have to go 5 sets in the quarters.
Computers in Silicon Valley have a model number on them, and that's it. At Gateway 2000, our custom-built computers are treated a little differently. That's because every system we build has a name attached.
Connie Kramer, Connie from New Jersey. This is your computer, and it's on television.
Gateway computers feature the Intel Pentium processor. And the only way to get them is to call 1-800-GATEWAY. You get a friend in the business, give us a call.
In a Saab 9000 Aero with 225 turbocharged.
Correj continuing to serve well, 63%. But that winner error, unforced ratio, incredible for Correj so far. He's also got 18 aces. Sampras is going to need to pick it up here in the fourth set to pull this one out. This game so far.
It's the 16th ace.
Unforced error number 19 there.
Important for Pete to start with a solid service game here.
It's important for Pete to obviously do that, but it's important to start putting some pressure on Correj when he's serving, which he hasn't done enough of these last couple sets.
Love game from Sampras for 1-all.
1 game.
Just get on a little bit of roll, Pete Sampras. Give himself an early break here in the fourth set. You know his confidence will start rising. Correj will start thinking twice. At the moment, Sampras has not made much of a dent in Correj's serve. Obviously key for Correj to keep those first serves coming in. See if Pete tries to put some pressure on the second serve. Chip charge. Pete's the one that looks like he's slowed down a little bit. Like a little flat-footed off the ground.
Wow.
That's incredible. Sampras 51 already in this match early in the fourth set. Correj playing at a very high level and not making many errors.
I don't know what's more unbelievable, the number of errors by Sampras or the small number of errors by Correj.
Well, I wasn't sure whether to slice that back and or come over it. And that indecision cost him the point. It's also a close to about 50 winners in this match, too. So he's playing at the top of his game. The stadium's no more than half full, really. Surprisingly, a lot of empty seats. You'd think everyone that was still out of the USTA would be in this stadium right now. Probably expected that Sampras would cruise. It's not happening. I knew Alex Correj was a very good player and competed well, but I didn't think that he could stay with Sampras in this quarterfinal encounter this long. Well, this is the hard work for Pete Sampras paying off. Not going for too much, but being nice and aggressive. Slice lobs don't normally work against Pete Sampras. What a smart play by Alex Correj.
And once again, at 30 all, Correj steps it up.
That's a gutsy move right there. Takes something off the first serve. Serve volley. Sampras thought he was going to stay back, so he just chipped that backhand return. It turned out to be an easy volley.
Well, coming up after this match, Stefan Edberg, Goran Ivanisevic.
Deuce.
Well, he was certainly there. I think what he did was, instead of hitting the drop volley at the last second, well, he did try to hit the drop volley, and it's a little bit too cute with it. And taking his eye off the ball ever so slightly. So it hit the top, towards the top of the frame. Back to deuce. That was Pete Sampras with that swinging forehand volley. Correj was trying to hang tough. Pete figured it'd be easier to hit that shot than volley it. He's gotten a little bit attentive on the volley, so maybe it helped him to swing out. Only Sampras' 5th chance, 1 out of 4 so far. One of the things he does well is he does have the ability to step forward into the ball. He doesn't hit off the back foot as much as most clay court players do. So consequently, his ball is heavier and he's got some more pace on it. And he's making things easier for himself out there. Well, Phil, he's got that look of fatigue on his face. worked awful hard on that point. Had an absolutely tremendous half volley there. He just hung his head. He is sucking some wind right now.
Another break chance for 2-1.
Centrum? I just feel better knowing I'm taking it.
Centrum's complete. Every time a vitamin makes news, I check my Centrum label, and Centrum's got it.
It's Centrum's commitment to ongoing research that ensures you always get the best nutritional support. A more advanced multivitamin. Centrum, always more complete than any leading brand.
The Centrum people thought of everything.
Like they say, from A to zinc.
Centrum, more complete from A to zinc.
What does it feel like in the new club world tilting cradle seat? What does it feel like to go through Club World fast track arrivals in London?
Well, I don't think Pete Sampras expected a quarterfinal match like this. He's got to now come back. Up a break, serving at 2-1.
I'll tell you, Bill, he had two unbelievable shots to break there.
And he's had to.
He really has. Correj not giving anything away. It's just too good by Sampras that last game. That should give him an adrenaline rush as he serves his fourth game of the fourth set. Correj continuing to compete and play extraordinarily well today. That was a beautiful return right at Sampras' feet. Sampras did well to get the ball back. Correj calmly flicks an inside-out forehand winner. He had time there, but he tried to cut that too close.
15.
No real danger for Sampras on that pass.
On the last serve.
30.
You gotta figure Correj is going to slow down sooner or later. Hasn't done it so far. Still bouncing around back there. He's worked awfully hard in this match today, as had Pete Sampras.
17, ace.
See that too often from clay court players. Shortening the backswing like Correj did there. Taking the ball on the rise, even though he's got that big Western grip. Just guiding up the line. Sampras had no chance.
40-30.
These guys want to learn how to play on hard course, these clay court players, they should watch the tape of Correj playing today. You don't have to totally change your game. You just have to make those subtle adjustments. It's been quite effective so far. Sampras with the big serve to pull out that game. Now up 3-1 in the fourth set.
Actually, even though he's up 2-1, this is big time in the match for Correj.
Correj wants to make sure Sampras works hard here now, not give any more freebies away. Although he didn't give a freebie away last game, he doesn't give anything away. There's a missed unforced forehand error there. You want to let Sampras get on a roll and win this fourth set easily. Made the adjustment there. Flicked that wrist a little bit more, and that ball dropped well inside the baseline. There's another drop volley that cost Correj.
15-30.
Once again, plays it a little bit too cute. He was there in time, but once again, it caught the top of the racket.
Tough when that touch deserts you after it's been there 2.5 hours. Now 15-30.
I don't think it deserted him there. I just think the technique a little bit off. When you're playing a great player like Pete Sampras, it doesn't take much. It's a highly competitive pressure situation. One of the biggest, if not the biggest event in men's tennis. It drops in. Sampras can't believe it.
40-30.
Sampras had him fooled and went behind him. Correj quickly moving back. That was a true flick of the wrist. You know, the textbook way to hit a forehand out the window there. I'm not sure if Sampras thrilled about that call. Very close.
Correj holds up 2-1, but down a break here in the fourth.
I didn't expect to spend my afternoon in an emergency room, but when you fall off a ladder, you know what they gave me here for a bad sprain? Advil, not Tylenol. The head nurse told me Advil is no stranger to ERs. Not only does it work safely, but on tough pain, 2 Advil work better than any 2 extra-strength Tylenol. After this, it's Advil for me.
For sprains and strains, ER doctors recommend Advil most.
It's our opinion at Acura that a luxury car should be quiet. It should cradle its occupants in astonishingly soft leather and burled walnut. And with a 3.5-liter power plant, it should be anything but a Sunday drive in the park. Introducing the Acura RL, the new flagship from Acura.
Pete Sampras, the #1 men's seed, and he's going to have to come back. If you're just joining us, welcome to our extended coverage of the U.S. Open on USA men's quarterfinals. I don't think Pete Sampras, John McEnroe, realized that he would have a late afternoon running into evening.
We should point out Pete's career 5-set match record is 20-7, which is excellent. That includes the match Yuri Novak in the second round this year. Remember, he was down 2-1 here.
Don't forget, coming up immediately after this, Stefan Edberg, Goran Ivanisevic.
I wanted to point out 2 sets to 1 down and a break, I believe, that Todd Martin here in the 92 Open came back and won that. So there's precedent for a Sampras comeback for sure, especially when you got to serve like that.
Now, I called that match, and I remember walking down right afterward. I saw Pete, and he actually came up and apologized for the way he played. He said, "I'm sorry you had to see that," which is a shocking thing to hear. But that is the kind of man he is.
Well, Todd Martin really made a name for himself there, showed that he was going to be a highly competitive player on this men's tour. 15 all, second serve. Correj's backhand, absolutely beautiful thing to watch.
Just continues to do that. Pete has to be wondering how long can he keep this up.
Pete comes in on the second serve once again. He may be able to keep this up as long as it takes. Very comfortable on that backhand. But we'll see when it comes down to the nitty-gritty.
Sampras at 15-30. Pete leaving no doubt. 30 all.
Good effort by Correj just to get that serve back. Correj looking to towel off there so that grip's not wet and that grip doesn't slip on him when he's about to hit a big shot. Second serve here.
The sun has gone down, but it's still a warm evening.
Second serve just barely caught the line. Pete continuing to serve volley on both serves. Don't see that too often. Correj continuing to look fresh. Didn't impress Pete too much.
18th ace for Sampras. Let's quickly check in with Michael Barkan. Michael?
Bill, during the last change, Pete Sampras asked for trainer Doug Spreen. Doug came out and gave him some energy tablets which contain electrolytes to replenish Pete's strength. Obviously, fatigue becoming a factor for Sampras at this point in the match, Bill.
All right, Michael, thank you very much. Got to be tough when you're feeling tired. You look across the net and the guy you're playing is bouncing around.
Well, Correj had Doug Spreen, who was the ATP trainer, come over the changeover before Pete did. And I think he was getting a little bit of energy tablets himself. He's worked awful hard in this match, and he's got to be feeling something. He is a human being.
15.
We did see him cramp up against Agassi last year in the quarters, in the second round of U.S. Open. So there is precedent for fatigue from the Correj body. But he doesn't look nearly as fatigued as he did last year, I'll tell you. Big serve once again for Correj.
That surprised Pete. He didn't move.
Unbelievable how well Correj served today.
Another ace.
Now we've been thrown in second serve aces.
Is that the serve or the fatigue from Sampras?
Well, it's a combination, but that was a very well-placed serve, and that was hit almost 100 miles per hour as a second serve. His serves looked more impressive against Sampras than Philippoussis did a couple of nights ago.
40-15.
40-15.
Correj continues to play well. Up 2-1 on the world #1, Pete Sampras. The stream in, they figured they could take their seats, but
they're not allowed in yet.
Not done yet.
Afternoon session, not complete. Hang outside the gates. The least they should do is let those poor folks inside the grounds. See if they can watch any matches that are being played. Perhaps catch a couple juniors playing on their way up, hoping to play like these two guys one day.
And tonight, of course, it's Stefan Edberg, Goran Ivanisevic. Winner of that will play the winner of this match in the semifinals. Started to say Pete Sampras has played 27 5-set matches in his career. His record is 20-7 versus only 7 5-setters for Correj. His record 3-4.
If this match goes to 5 sets, as it appears it's going to, that Edberg-Ivanisevic match will not go on at 7:30. You can be assured of that. We should be in about the 5th set tiebreak by about that time. This, by the way, is the only major event where there are tiebreakers in the 5th set. U.S. Open. Easy game for Pete there. Certainly enjoyed that. Pete now up 5-3 in the 4th set. We've seen the draw. Agassi Chang, lower half. Be playing Saturday. Ivanisevic Edberg in about an hour or so. Hour and a half, perhaps. Pete Sampras and Correj fighting for a semifinal berth as well.
Folks here in the stadium court have been treated to some great tennis. Get there. Almost.
Some nutty shot selection there. Sampras with a swinging volley. Correj tried to crush that forehand pass. He wasn't able to come up with the backhand. But he did run it down and go for it. I'll tell you, he tried to really clock that backhand.
$15 all.
Sampras looking to shorten the point there.
15.
It's the backhand approach into the net. Trying to come in off that return. Trying to conserve that energy so he can make it through this 4th and then 5th set. That ball skidded on him. He just took that racket back. It looked like he tried to take it back a little bit more, which you don't want to do. Just take it back one time, leave it there. And he caught it a little bit late, trying to overhit up the line, respecting Correj's running ability. And Pete knows there's still a long way to go in this match. Another ace if he's going to win it, that is.
It's 20.
Too big a swing on that forehand approach. Had Sampras beat, but missed it a little bit wide. Both players desperately trying to make sure it's their opponents that are doing the running here, trying to get ahead early in the point, trying to wear each other down.
Sampras will serve for the 4th set. On his serve in this set.
Correj yelling at himself there, that mishit forehand return. He's trying desperately to put some pressure back on Sampras' shoulders here as he tries to level this match at 2 sets all. It's 2 big serves in the forehand side. Correj looks like he's a little bit tight in that quadricep muscle there, trying to loosen up. Grimaced when he hit that forehand. That's what happened to him last year. He started cramping in the legs in the 4th set against Agassi. Starting to tighten up here. Makes it so much easier for Pete when he gets those first serves in. 3 first serves, 3 quick points.
Now 3 set points. Sampras closing the gap. And will play a 5th.
Just like the return match we expected, right? Nope. 2 sets all. Sampras, we pointed out, 20-7. A lot more experience there. Correj did win a 5-setter earlier this tournament against Jonas Bjorkman. And it's both players in their second 5-setter of this tournament. Yuri Novak was Pete's other 5-setter in the second round. They looked a little fatigued there, Pete. Didn't even make an effort for that forehand off the Correj racket. And that's a shot that continues to haunt Sampras. That running forehand, that's really let him down today. He's been pressured into going for more because Correj covers the court so well, and he's come up with some big forehands of his own. He's answered the challenge from the Sampras forehand today. 30 love here. First game, 5th set.
No overrule from Cecil Hollins in the chair. You're just joining us. We're at the National Tennis Center. Our extended coverage of the 1996 U.S. Open. We're in the 5th set. Pete Sampras, the #1 seed, against unseeded Spaniard Alex Correj, ranked number 31 in the world. Correj serving 40 love. Bill McAtee and John McEnroe. Good to have you with us.
Ball sliced, stayed nice and low, good depth. Correj unable to handle the forehand. Still got 2 more points for 1 love lead in this final set.
Game direction.
So Correj holds to start the 5th.
First.
Keep getting off that chair a little bit slowly there.
Correj has played, I think you can make the case, the match of his life.
break Mooster's 40-match winning streak on clay last year. I'm sure that was probably the biggest win to date, but here at the U.S. Open quarterfinals, if you were to beat #1 ranked Pete Sampras, you're right. Biggest win of his life.
Now, until this year, Correja's best year at the Open was last year when he made it to the second round after losing his first 3 years here in the first round. So this is without question his best U.S. Open, best Grand Slam.
15
all. 20 aces now for Pete.
Correj at the end of '94 was ranked 22 in the world. He struggled a little bit last year, dropped to 48. Actually had a losing record for the year at 25 and 26. Now getting himself back on track.
30.
Back up to 31 in the world now. He'll certainly be in the top 30 even if he loses this match to Pete Sampras. But if he were to beat him, he could sneak into the top 20 perhaps, even with a semifinal result. Comes up with the goods when the going gets tough. Big serving here.
It's 21 now. There you see, 120 on the IBM Speed Gun.
And that's what frustrated Jim Courier at the French Open. Looks awful fatigued. Sampras now finally has gotten the edge of Correj in the ace department. And then he'd come up to that baseline, serve up a big serve. Just like he's done this game.
Let's listen.
First serve.
Did you hear anything there?
Well, even Cecil Holland started to say game Sampras.
He started to say game, and then the center service umpire called the ball wide.
She said a let. Then what's he doing moving over?
Correj made a mistake. That's what happened.
He said it was my fault.
I think Alex forgot it was a first serve. When he got the first serve call, he went over to the ad cover. He should have a first serve here. Because he definitely threw off Pete's timing for a second serve.
I think Pete's going to bring that up.
Yeah. He's correct here.
Of that delay, I should get a first serve? You don't think so? So there wasn't a, he went over the other side. We took 10 seconds. It's a delay, isn't it? What happened? Unusual delay. He moved to the other side. That wasn't unusual. What are you smoking there? Huh? What are you smiling at? Huh? Is this a joke?
Pete, 100% correct there. Should absolutely be getting a first serve. Correj made an honest mistake, but Pete's going to hit a second one. And that's doubly frustrating when your opponent hits a winner off the second serve.
43. Maybe as angry as I've seen him at the chair.
Well, he's talked about the pressure Bill he's put on himself at this U.S. Open. He wants this win bad to win one major this year. Now the crowd giving Pete a little bit of support.
Pete having to work hard, but he holds. There's some emotion in this place.
And the emotion's giving him some adrenaline. He's got a little bit more bounce in his step now to me. 1-all in the fifth set. At least he knows the end's near, but this is a great volley there to get himself out of trouble. Kept his composure. 1-all fifth set. by the way, now 3 hours, 19 minutes old. Physical and mental drain for both players.
All.
Pace there finally paid off for Sampras. Correj with the overhead.
15-all.
I thought he'd have the far better of the exchanges off the forehand side. Correj just hung tough. Takes something off that first serve. Throws in ace number 21.
30-15.
Continuing to execute a brilliant mental game plan here, Alex Correj today.
That's long.
Good eye there by Pete Sampras. Got to make sure that ball's going out, and that ball's just beyond the baseline.
How big is this point?
Not as big as the next point if Pete wins this one.
True.
He had that one lined up, came up short, pulled up once again.
40-30.
We stay on serve in the fifth. Creeping up for Pete Sampras, and still a great ratio for that man, Alex Correj.
Great for Correj, improving for Sampras, but still, that's too many unforced errors for him today. 62 already, early in this fifth set. Correj continuing to bounce around in that baseline. Pete gave him one more shot at it. Couldn't come up with the backhand pass.
115 for ace number 22.
30.
Sampras hitting one more ball. That's all Correj can ask for. I'm telling you, for either of these two players, whoever wins this match can be tougher to come back. They'll only have one day off, unlike Agassi, Agassi and Chang. Both players won their matches in 4 sets. They get 2 days off before Saturday. So. The winner of the Agassi-Chang match can win relatively quickly, and if Sampras, say he or Wynn struggled against Ivanisevic or Stefan Edberg, who we'll be seeing shortly, the edge would have to go to the lower half of the draw. Oh, unbelievable shot.
James Sampras.
He didn't want to run for that, Bill. But he's a gutsy champion. Correj making him run a little bit extra. Sampras said, well, if I'm going to run up here at 40 love at 2-1, I'm going to hit a winner.
This is where the heart takes over.
You heard Boris Becker always talk about that the fifth set's won by heart, nothing else. Throw everything else the window, and it's starting to look that way here. Smart play by Correj, by the way, at 40 love. See what happens there. Sampras doesn't have enough gas in the tank to run that ball down. So it didn't pay off that previous point, but it paid off first point of this game. Correj with that big forehand Western style grip, big swing, bounces just inside the line. No real chance there for Pete anyway. Just too good from the racket of Alex Correj. Oh, the serving exhibition for Correj continues.
22 aces.
30.
Trying to shorten the point there.
40.
Too much bite on that second serve. Easy game so far from Alex Correj.
Beginning to set here in New York. Day becomes night. Sampras, Correj continue to battle.
I promise we'll love you a little more because you're the son we chose. I promise to teach you that being different also makes you special. I promise you can count on your family no matter what.
To help keep their promises, people across America rely on Mass Mutual for life insurance and financial security. Mass Mutual, we help you keep your promises.
Do you play long body? It's the Prince Design Breakthrough exploding on the Pro Tour. It's Michael Chang's secret weapon. Take your game to greater lengths with a Prince long body racket.
Hey, you're a guy, and guys need protection made just for them, like Speed Stick. Our new pack is easier to handle and has a new comfort top. It's a better way to get that same great Speed Stick protection, just for the guys.
Who will blink first? Sampras serves. Try to level this fifth set at 3.
Got some new balls. I'll give him a little bit more pace on the serve. Correj continuing to show no signs of fatigue whatsoever. Other than that brief moment, I think, in the early part of this set, we started to grab his quadricep, maybe just tightening up on him a little. Pete ran it down, but missed it. That's where the new balls hurt him. Actually flew on him a little bit there. A little bit smaller than after you played 9 games with him. It's turning into a serve and volleyer player as we speak here, Bill.
15 all.
Able to keep the points shorter and not allowed Correj to dictate play in the baseline. Although I didn't even think he could dictate play as well as he has today so far. Oh, what can you say?
Flip the tape, landed in.
And look at this forehand return here. I mean, this is a phenomenal return.
15-30.
Missed the forehand, but Correj has got a beautiful backhand, clips the tape, goes over. And look at that get, tremendous get. And then he followed up with the big-time passing shot up the line. Sampras says, forget about the angle now. I got to go back to the juice here. Correj just stepped in and had the backhand. Got ever so tight, just a little bit. That ball was coming into his body. Tough second serve to handle. It's a nice bite on it. 30 all. Another great serve out wide. Goes right back to the serve that Correj had hurt him with 2 points ago.
23 aces for Sampras. Just not letting Sampras take a breath.
That's really where I thought Sampras could hurt him. He leaves that forehand side open. Correj ran around the backhand, looped that forehand to Sampras' side, but he's unable to come up with the goods.
Advantage Sampras.
A lot tougher when you're fatigued to hit running forehands too. So Sampras would dearly love a little bit of time to line that up like he did there. Didn't bend too well there, did he, Bill? Still, I mean, this is a textbook backhand passing shot. Absolutely beautiful one-hander. He didn't have time to step forward. He would have if he had time, but he was forced to hit off the back foot. But we're at deuce once again. Sampras used every inch of the court there. This youngster from Spain's got to be a little bit tired. Come on. I mean, he even made Sampras hit one more shot. This is not that easy a shot. A high backhand volley is what I thought the toughest shot in tennis.
You might have seen Sampras kind of massage his shoulder a little bit.
He certainly took a lot off that first serve. Got the overall.
So the balls go back on the other side, and Pete says, your turn.
3 games old.
Seems to be in some distress, so he's very, very thankful he doesn't have to serve anymore this game. And he is grabbing at his shoulder. I don't know if he's feeling some tightness, if he did it on that backhand volley, if it's just a long match that he's had to play. Paul Annacone probably wondering the same thing. certainly went for it all on that return, the first point of the 7th game. Two first serves, not a lot on them, but two quick, easy points. Make that 3. Put a little more heat on that one. Continuing to mix things up beautifully from all aspects of this match. Serve, groundies, coming into net. Unbelievable effort by Correj so far. Even if you're to lose this, it's an unbelievable effort.
That time, Sampras finds the range.
Don't forget, there is tiebreakers here at the U.S. Open. Only major where they play 5th set tiebreakers. So this match will last no more than 15, 20 more minutes.
How tough is this guy serving? 23rd ace.
For years, I dreamed of seeing Venice with my boyfriend, Tom. I'd whisper about Palazzo as gondolas. All he'd talk about is deadlines and business meetings. Finally, I went and booked 2 romantic weeks on the Grand Canal with my Visa Gold card. Tom was completely surprised.
Scusa, ma chi è questo Tom? Visa Gold, purchase power to make dreams come true. It's everywhere you want to be.
How's your job?
Great. There's still a lot of stress, though.
You still getting those headaches?
Yeah. Yeah, I actually went to the doctor. I thought they might be migraines. He said they weren't. He told me to take Tylenol, extra strength.
Tylenol? Not some prescription, huh?
The Tylenol works great, Dad.
More than aspirin, more than ibuprofen. For headaches, doctors recommend Tylenol the most.
You should have come to work for me, Julie.
Oh, sure. No stress there.
From above the stadium court at the National Tennis Center. Welcome back to the U.S. Open on USA. Pete Sampras in a real battle against Alex Correj. And we said about 3.5 hours ago, remember 2 years ago, Jaime Izaga took Pete Sampras to a 5th set. Pete struggled with cramps and really battled like a champion, but didn't have enough that night against Jaime Izaga. Will he have enough against Alex Correj?
I remember when I laughed when you said Izaga, but it's a pathetic little move you threw in there, Bill. Well, that ball skidded right off the line. Great there for Sampras. Consequently, Alex Correj catching that ball too late. Good thing Pete was alert there. Most guys wouldn't even run for this ball, but not Alex Correj. He runs the ball down and does something with it. Sampras had a good volley there to get out of the point.
He's done something with it for 3 hours and 39 minutes. 30 love. Rare unforced error. Pete'll take it.
Correct. Correct.
another smart move by Correj. Looking to conserve a little energy. He said, why not might as well just volley that from the baseline.
Why not?
Sampras went back to me. What the heck?
So 40-15. Those of you who tuned in expecting to see the night session, Goran Ivanisevic and Stefan Edberg, well, guess what? We're not done with the day session yet. That's the story. Pete Sampras battling for his U.S. Open life against Alex Correj.
A well-deserved round of applause for both players here. I'll tell you one thing, Sampras is not feeling too good right now physically. He's feeling horrible, Bill, but this is where all that hard work, off-court training, years of dedication will pay off for you. This will allow you to mentally dig deep enough to just hang in there. Hope he can pull this one out. Correj continuing to look the fresher of the two.
Showing on that forehand.
When he went for the winner, he knew he had to go for the winner. Didn't have enough left to get himself back in the point. Came up short.
And if you are just joining us, that's the 24th ace for that man, Alex Correj.
Well, he is overjoyed. He's had an easy game so far here. 4-all fifth set. Put the pressure right back on Sampras' shoulder. Total miss hit there.
40-15.
And that's just nerves more than anything else. Trying to put away this ninth game. Another thing that we weren't expecting, Correj serving and volleying. We've seen some of that today. Some opportune moments.
That is only the second double fault.
40-50.
Must be a good luck charm. Put that tool back in the socks.
Crowd sensing a little bit of an opening for Sampras. I know his wheels are turning.
Some days you just don't have time for breakfast, but you need a healthy start. That's why.
Well, that was in.
No, it was out. The guy initially called it in. hesitated there for about a split second and then decided to call it out. And he made the correct call. Ball looked a little bit long.
Let's take a look.
If we can tell from here. Well, no definitive yes or no there.
You should note that we do not have the famous Mac Cam available to us.
Disappeared mysteriously to the weekend. Correj has done that all day, Bill. He stepped forward, not letting the ball kick up too high. Been quite aggressive off that backhand side. Sampras smartly decides to go to the Correj forehand. Able to induce the error, go up 30-15.
Ace number 24.
He says, well, I'm going to go back to the backhand. I'm going to hit that first serve even harder. Point from 5-all, fifth set.
Taking no chances. He's seen that too often today. 5-all.
Five games over.
Alex Correj continuing to be aggressive.
15-all.
First a good first serve. Saw the opening. Inside out forehand winner. No breaks here so far in this fifth set. It looks like it could be winding down to a fifth set tiebreaker to decide this all. Pete misjudged that. He obviously thought it was going long. And when it went in, he just wasn't ready to return it.
So Correj holds at love. And now the pressure back on Sampras to stay in the match.
Well, this match is close to 4 hours old, and Correj has shown absolutely zero signs of fatigue throughout this match. Absolutely phenomenal condition. He certainly learned something as we look at the clock. 3 hours, 52 minutes. Sampras, the one who looks like he's really struggling physically. We've seen that before. Now the longest match here so far this year, topping the Chang Stadium match. And what is this man thinking right now? He's thinking, I fought my heart out and I deserve to win this. Pete Sampras says, I'm the number one ranked player in the world, and I ain't going down without a fight. I want this U.S. Open. Two great competitors. Look at Correj showing Sampras how fresh he is, keeping loose. Trying to look for any edge he can possibly get. Final game or two.
As you said, John, it's all about heart now.
Correj wishes he had done more with this backhand return. Hit it short enough so that Sampras could line it up, flatten it out, and hit an inside-out winner on the forehand side of his own. Let's get ready for a tie break. I believe this would be the first fifth set. Well, no, it's not the first. I take that back. Jumped the gun there. I was about to say it'd be the first 5-set match to be determined in the tiebreaker, but that's absolutely incorrect. It's happened a couple times already this tournament.
Here it is. Sampras replies by holding it low.
6 games all. Final set tiebreaker.
As Pete looks skyward, you know who he's talking to. Tim Gullickson.
Well, he finally hurt Correj with this shot, that running forehand. Correj desperately runs it down. Still has time to come up here and attempt that backhand pass, comes up short. I think Pete's about to get sick here, Bill. I don't know, maybe he just he is a hurting cowboy right now.
Well, that is what happened.
Yep. You tell these guys aren't fighting their hearts out. Got to delay a game warning there. The guts are now spilling out on the court.
That is the rule.
Still Pete Sampras hanging on for dear life right now. What an effort to win that point. See if Correj gets tentative here.
Thank you.
What can you say?
Nothing.
It says it all. Standing ovation.
This will go down as one of the great matches in the history of the U.S. Open.
How's that for pulling one out of the hat? You know, Correj thought he was going to get an easier serve than that. He could barely serve a couple points ago. 3-4, Alex Correj.
That was 122.
We just noticed Elena Mulcahy, Pete's girlfriend, coming back onto the court. She sees what type of distress Pete's in, wants to be there to support him.
Sometimes it's hard for her to watch, so she gets up and leaves, but now she's back.
Big-time forehand. No forehand's ever been hit that was bigger than that one right there. At that big a point in a match.
Thank you. Ready for play.
You get two serves here and pull this one out.
Thank you.
Gutsy play by the Spaniard there. Tendency is to get a little bit defensive, play it safe. Pete's come up with some big shots, and he was the aggressor. Came in the net. That was a tough volley.
Thank you.
Sure went for the big bomb there. 124, just long.
Sampras. Thank you. Ready for play. Six all.
We're just watching right along with you.
Thank you. Ready for play.
Two absolutely tremendous points from Alex Correj there, down match point.
7-6.
Talking about keeping your cool. Now he's finally, for 4 hours and 6 minutes, got himself a match point.
Thank you.
Correj played a fantastic point. It was a tough passing shot.
Everything in his being to get there for Sampras.
Remember, he did get that time delay warning, so theoretically, he's supposed to serve this within 20 seconds.
Thank you. Seven, Sampras. Thank you. Quiet, please.
in the English language to capture this moment.
Bill, you got to feel for that man, Alex Correj. What a heartbreaking. That's an understatement.
There are tears behind that towel.
And with Sampras off the court quickly, get him some treatment, try to get some fluids in that body. Correj has not moved since they shook hands.
You remember a couple days ago I said we hadn't really had that match as far as I was concerned to define the Open this year?
Not your wish.
This may have been the match to define the Open in the 90s. Unbelievable. I think everybody leaving here now feels emotionally drained. I know I do.
No question about that.
Tears coming from her eyes about 5 minutes ago as she watched Pete Sampras become physically ill. This, ironically, is what it all came down to.
Double fault match point after all that time. Correj cannot believe it.
Two courageous warriors out there. Look at the reaction. And now the crowd is chanting, Alex, Alex, and he's there by himself in the chair, and finally he stands.
He's got a ton more respect than he had about 4 hours ago from these New York fans. Anyone that's ever watched a tennis match. I don't know how they're going to top it tonight, Ivanisevic, Edberg, but we'll see what they got.
Thank you, Alex. You played like a champion. And everyone here knows it. Well, coming up next, Ivanisevic and Edberg, the last of the men's quarterfinals.